Hello, welcome to Digital Learning. For our episode today, we are going to be thinking about the fact that it is School Library Month here in the state of Florida, and I have with me my colleague, Laura Woods, and Laura is the program coordinator for all of our library media programs here, and we've just got lots of fun things to talk about in terms of what's going on in our media centers. One thing we want to point out is that our governor, Rick Scott, has issued a proclamation for us. And what's the gist of this for us?
The gist is this is the different activities that are celebrated in the school libraries for the month of April. And there are many different things from literacy to technology, and he covers all the bases.
Okay. So this is the Digital Learning Show. and we are the Library Media Department as well, but let's talk a little bit about how we're bringing technology into our school media centers.
Well, we've done a lot of training with our LMTs this year with their PLCs, and one of them...
excuse me. What is a PLC?
PLC. PLC is a professional learning community, and they come together with me once a month, and they learn about different big pieces of technology or library literacy that we need. This last one we did was really phenomenal. It was STEAM training. It's a STEAM kit made by Sam Labs, and it is all about circuitry, Bluetooth, coding. It truly, they had a blast. And each one of them took it back to their own kit back to the school, and they are able to put that into one of their Makerspace areas. And later on, we should be able to show that STEAM kit really was a big hit at one of the schools.
All right. Well, let's take a look at that special day that they all came together.
Great.
I think right now we see that there's a transition in the library spaces that we're seeing. We have a lot of this, how do we create the space to be more interactive for the students? So we're really seeing this sort of 21st century boom within the libraries. And the way that we address that is we give the kids the power to create. The library is not just filled with books anymore. It's a place that we learn, and everybody understands it's about learning. And how do we create within the library? It's a space that facilitates communication, if anything, creativity, collaboration, but now we're introducing computational thinking. The library plays a key role in how do we unlock issues, how do we develop skills, and I think it's not being addressed as much. So what we're doing is we're working with the media specialists, and we're creating makerspaces that uses Sam Labs kits to empower kids to create. Imagine we could build a 21st century library. If I open this book and I all of a sudden get a message that says, oh, this book is being checked out, we're getting the kids to think about the technology that's around them, and how do we work that into the future? So I think that there's a pivotal role right now for media specialists to get involved with coding and electronics, and they're often scared and they don't know how to do it, which is fair. Everybody is. We're making it really accessible, really easy in a combination of lesson plans, apps, and these block kits. And as you can see right here, I think we have quite a bit of engagement. So we're going to use the libraries to become the 21st century makers that we all want to be. And I think that we're leading the charge with that, and I think that you guys are really doing an amazing job in facilitating these sort of activities for educators to be involved. And I think that that combination together is going to create a generation of inventors. So the STEAM kit itself addresses a couple of issues that we've seen. We really want children to explore and build curiosity through coding and understand what that is. So the kit has been developed to easily give those kids the power to code. So we have the blocks, but also the apps. And together, in conjunction with the lesson plans, all those three things together help the kids really program, but also the teachers. So, I mean, it was developed through just sheer understanding that teachers are having difficulty teaching concepts, and students want to explore those concepts. So when we meet halfway, they both prosper together. So we start very simply with games and apps that we've generated that goes through to the coding application, but then further onwards to, for instance, Blockly, etc., and then seeing the code behind that. So as we progress, we are going to connect that gap that exists, which is, well, how do we go from block-based to code? All these sort of issues, we address that. Now, in terms of the kits themselves, yes, we have a progression of the kits. From very early on, we had small, very little kits, and now we have the STEAM kit, which is a nice box, which is for the Makerspace and really exploring with a variety of senses. And now we're starting to develop what is called classroom kits. So for instance, if a teacher wants to develop a lesson plan but address that for 30 students, we have little trays inside those kits that can easily be handed out. And as we move forward, we are going to build on how we charge, how we make and build those solutions really simply for everyone. As it is, there's a number of sensors that you can add on, for instance. So we have dimmer switches, we have a number of things. And we can then also get the Lego connectors that fit in. We can put the car bases. We actually also have little cutouts that we can make for the cars that we can add on also. So we have a range of different ones. And kids can even create their own one. So they can draw on it, for instance. They can make it, whatever mobile. It's the taco mobile. It can be anything. And they can draw that on there and then put it on top. And they can then steer that around.
The people there were having a lot of fun. It looked a little bit confusing. I mean, there was some genuine learning going on in that room.
Yes, there was. They had first to figure out how to even turn them on, and they had to connect them with the device, whether it be an iPad or a PC, and then they had to get them to connect to each other, and that was a challenge because just seeing them try and move their finger across the board, and they kept missing the dots, I kept thinking, dots? Come on, dots. But when I saw the kids doing it, it was like bing, bang, bong, and they got it.
So sometimes the kids are a little braver about these things
yes,
than we are as
and
adults.
very, very ready.
But I think the thing that we really have to give the kudos here is these are library media specialists, and they came into the career, in many cases, thinking about checking out books, and now they're really expanding and blowing their minds with
Yes, they are. They're doing so many different things digitally. It's amazing. The e-books that they're handling, everything that they use with Destiny. A lot of the schools are working with Mayan, which is digital books that the kids can all read easily, and there are multiple copies for everybody. So it's amazing, the technology, but it's also the future, and it's where we're going. And that's why the media specialists are moving in that direction, because that's where we're all going.
Well, one of the things I heard David say that kind of struck a chord with me is this isn't just necessarily about sitting and playing with technology, but the problem solving and the communication skills and the working together.
Yeah, that's important. The collaboration especially is important. Everybody needs to be able to communicate with each other their thoughts while they're doing things. And if they're inventing something or if they're engaged in an activity like this, they need to be able to problem solve it together and work collaboratively so that they can come up with a solution that works.
And so this is building on both the ELA standards, the language arts standards, and the math standards with the computational skills. So we did have a chance to go out and visit Sexton Elementary School.
Yes.
And see some kids diving in to a Makerspace program there. So let's take a look at our visit to Sexton Elementary.
Okay.
Our media specialist had gone to some training in the county, and she came back excited about what the opportunities that could be for our fifth graders and eventually to our whole school. And so she came and shared with us during a PLC what her idea was and what she wanted to do and how this can work in our school. And so we kind of talked about it, discussed about it. She taught us each station what it was going to be prior to spring break, and right after spring break we are starting.
We're now calling this a learning commons. So we're not going to call it a library anymore. We're not going to call it a media center. We're actually going to call it learning commons because it has a new purpose as being a gathering place for you all to explore. You'll have an opportunity to rotate among the different stations here in the library. We're actually asking you to pair up as you previously have with your teacher, and we can now have you explore all of these stations that we'll be describing in just a few minutes. You can gather around and take a look. You'll use a iPad to go ahead and connect the car that you're going to build. It's called Crazy Cars, and you'll connect it with that iPad, so you'll be able to control the movements. You'll use one of those little square blocks. So above the M, if you push on it, it'll make it power up, and we're going to then place this here so that we can actually move this around, okay? Ozobot is a little robot, and you can actually get Ozobot to travel along these colored paths. And all the colored paths are here. You use markers. That's why you have paper. You're going to, the sequence of colors makes different moves. This is a Makerspace station where you can use stamps. We have 3 color stamp pads. You can use pictures or some words from cards. There's scissors in the green zip bag there, markers, color crayons, and then of course some paper that you can fold in half and make your card. These are called Connect blocks, and this is a space building set. So in the space building set, we have some diagrams there that show you how to create some different things that you can do. This is all about circuitry. So right here on one of these pages, you'll see my very first circuit. And what you do is follow the directions, put the parts and pieces together. You can create sound, you can create light, you can have a dimmer switch and lower the sound or raise the sound. This is called Makey, okay? So what you're going to discover is that you are going to create, and this is an exercise that we have on the computer already, called bongos. So you have this little circuit board in here. You connect the computer to the circuit board, and then you connect these alligator clips to make bongos. You can make them out of oranges or apples, but you'll just connect these to create a circuit. This is called Osmo, and on Osmo you have tanagram pattern that is up there on the iPad, and what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of that and lay it down here, and look, it sees the pieces coming together. You can see that as you put the different pieces together, how you're going to replicate that pattern. So this is called the tanagram exercise, and I think you'll find that this is a very interesting and exciting project too. You're going to have a Lego board with lots of Legos there, and you can create your own things.
Wow, that was a lot of activity happening. And this was the last period of the day with these
Yes,
kids.
this is the 5th grade recess time for Sexton.
Okay.
And of course, with 5th grade, they've already had a big day. They've been doing a lot of sitting, a lot of reading, work in the classroom. And this time of day, they're extremely fidgety. Mm-hmm. And every class that went through has been absolutely engaged and absorbed. They've worked together like true champions, and it amazed the teachers, the principal, anybody who saw them working were absolutely marveling at how engaged they truly were. There was not one, it was lots of noise, but it was all academic thinking, educational noise, and that's what we want.
And then I saw too the actually reading instructions and having to read the instructions, comprehend what it's saying, look at the diagrams. And so again, we're absolutely applying. This isn't just about playing, this is also about learning. So we had a chance to hear Chelsea Riley's thoughts with her class, so let's take a look.
So today was our class' first time coming to Makerspace, and they were very excited. They had heard some chatter from their peers, and they were wondering what is it about, you know. And so I did share with them, I said, it's an opportunity for you to show your creativity, to explore some new things. That's all I left them with, because I wanted them to be excited about it. I wanted them to come and just explore about it. Sometimes it's good when children have that unknown and they don't know what's going to happen. So I was excited what I saw today. One of the activities on the Makerspace was the electricity. And in 5th grade, we do a science lab on electricity. And one of the things I saw that I am excited about to bring into my classroom is the whole electricity unit, the idea of expanding what we do in science lab and taking it to the next level. A lot of times with 5th graders, they're like, oh, I've done this already. But this right here, it really was making them excited to learn, to practice something new, to do something new. I didn't see, as I walked around, not one child having like they weren't having a good time.
What happens next?
Every Thursday is our turn, so we'll reshuffle the pairs. What they actually did is I had the names of each activities, and I had an A or B, and they pulled out of a hat the name of the activity they're going to be in, if they were A or B, and so by the time they got here, they knew what game they were going to be playing or what activity and who their partner was. I think this is really tapping into what children want. Children are hands-on, and so anytime that we can tap into their world to be able to see, what they want to do, the coding piece, that right there, that's what the future's going to be. That is that 21st learning that they all talk about. That's it. That's what the kids want to do, and this stuff makes me excited. So anything that gets the kids engaged, I love it.
Well, Laura, it must be exciting for you to have an idea, see a thing, present it to your team, your LMTs, and then watch it get into the hands of students.
It is. It's wonderful because it's helping all of our libraries move into the 21st century, which is where they all need to go.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking more about all of the good things that are happening in our school libraries across Pinellas County, and I hope you'll stay tuned.